Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. I want to come and ask you a question today. Should you start a relationship with someone who is on and off with someone else? Important question. So, should you start a relationship with someone who is on and off with someone else? I think that's a good question. It's a valid question. It is one of those questions that I've been kind of pondering for quite some time now, and I've been wanting to come and discuss it and talk about it. Now, if you ask this question to the average person, you may get the response, no, no way. Are you kidding? Are you out of your mind? Go back to somebody who just admitted and told you that, hey, yes, I have an interest in you, but by the way, I've been on and off with someone else, and you think I'm going to jump into that? No way. Some people would say no. They wouldn't even think twice about establishing a new relationship with someone who told them that they are on and off with their ex. Who in their right mind will really take that risk? Who in their right mind today would really take that risk in going into a relationship with someone who told you, I'm on and off with my ex or with someone else? You're really taking a risk, and not just a risk, you're taking a high risk. And the only one that ends up hurt in the long run is not them, it's actually you. We'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. So listen to this. The fact that they admitted to you, the fact that they admitted that to you places you in a position of being an option to them. Did you know that? You're an option. And even while it's in relation to this subject or any relationship in general, who would really want to be in a relationship with someone who basically got girls on the side and got boys on the side, or men or women on the side? In other words, you're not the only one. And in the event if something happens or y'all get mad at each other and break up, guess what? It's not their loss because they got somebody to fall back on. You don't. You end up hurt. You end up disappointed. It's just not good. Don't do it. Don't be somebody's option. You may be saying, an option, really? Yes, an option. You become an option when you decide to go into a relationship with someone who told you that they're on and off with someone else. So imagine being in a relationship with someone, and at any given moment, it may not work out. Like I said earlier, y'all may get in a big fight, a big argument. For whatever reason, it don't work out. That person goes back to their ex. What do you do? How do you respond to that? How do you handle that? Whose fault is it really? Is it my fault for taking that chance? Is it my fault for taking the risk? Was I just too trusting? In many cases, we really are. We're too trusting. And I believe my response would be just as anyone's response, and that would be no to the question, should you start a relationship with someone who is on and off with their ex? That should be a no. We're going to a relationship with someone who still has someone on the side. It's degrading, it's dishonoring, and it's disrespectful to you. Don't accept it. And when you do that, you're actually settling. That's what you're doing. And like I say, I use that word trusting, too trusting. You may just be too trusting. You may be gullible. You may be like, oh, I'll just let it go over my head. Oh, it'll be fine. Oh, it's not going to happen. Well, it will happen. It could potentially happen, especially if they warned you to begin with. We appreciate the honesty that they display. And I appreciate the honesty if somebody told me that. I'm sure you do too. Most people wouldn't even admit that they are back and forth with an ex or someone. So you definitely have to give them some credit. At least they are being honest about it. Because most people wouldn't be honest. But just because they're honest does not mean you should fall for it. It does not mean that you should enter that relationship. Just say no and save yourself the heartache. Just say no and save yourself the pain. Just say no and save yourself the hurt. Here's the truth. If you make the decision to go into that relationship knowing that that person could go back to that other person, it is your fault. It's not Pooh Nanny's fault. It's not Mama's fault. It's not Johnny's fault. It's not Sally's fault. It's not even the fault of the person who told you they're back and forth with their ex. It is your fault because you, as an adult, made the conscious decision to go into a relationship with someone who just told you they're on and off with their ex. So you can't get mad at them if something don't work out between y'all two. You can't get mad at them if they decide to leave you for whatever reason and go back to what's familiar. For some people, that's abusive relationships. For some people, that could be a variety of things. It is your fault. It's not their fault because you made that choice. You may feel hopeful and trusting that they won't do that to you. They couldn't do that to me. It's impossible. That wouldn't happen. But is it really worth taking that chance? Is it really worth taking that chance? Think about all the women in the world that could just be just for you. I'm talking to those who may have an interest in dating or marrying. Think about all the men in the world, ladies, who that one guy can be just for you. You don't have to have a backup plan where if we don't work out, I'll just go back to my ex. Now, many people don't plan it that way, but it's in the back of their mind. It's in the back of their mind. They may have somebody on the side they may be secretly talking to, or they may think like if some don't work out between me and my spouse, I got somebody to fall back on. That's almost a form of cheating, almost. It is. It goes back to what I said earlier. It's like you're an option. You're pretty much an option. You are a choice between two people when you can actually just be the one. Would you just like to be the one, for instance? Just be the one. If that person has a cycle, and pay attention to that word cycle, if that person has a cycle of going back to their ex, I would not be giving that person the time of the day to be with me. Nope, it ain't happening. It's not happening because it's not worth it. I am not going to take the risk. I'm not going to do it. Now, what does that mean? You may say, Henry, what do you mean by going back and forth? Define that. What does that mean going back and forth or on and off with someone? It literally means that that person has a proven record, a history of returning back to someone that they were previously with in the past. And I'm speaking from both sides of the coin today. One side of it, of me not going into that relationship because I knew that it was risky and I shouldn't do it. And then the other side of it, years ago, I was gullible. I was too trusting and I did it thinking that it wouldn't happen. And it happened to me. Maybe some people would say I was ignorant or maybe I was just falling too fast. But the reality of it is, I'm the one that ended up hurt. I'm the one that ended up disappointed. You learn from your mistakes, you fall, you get back up, you mature, and you just don't do stupid stuff like that. You don't make stupid decisions like that. I've had it happen to me. Um, Years ago, I had a woman that convinced me that she would never go back to her ex. I would never go back to someone else. And guess what? She did. She made every excuse to justify going back to him. And after that happened, weeks ago, several weeks ago, I had a woman that I had an interest in, who admittedly told me, and I don't know if she did that on purpose, but she told me, she says, yes, I just broke up with my ex for about 3 or 4 years. I liked her, she liked me. But that's what she admittedly told me that. And at first, I kind of blew it off. I was like, okay, she's done with him. Then I thought about it when I got off the phone with her. I said, she just told me she's on and off with her ex for 3 or 4 years, but she likes me. She wants to be with me. She wants to establish a relationship with me. She has an interest in me. I didn't think nothing of it at first until she went from ghosting me, stopped talking to me, had a disinterest in me. How do you go from wanting to go on a date to now you're just completely silent? Which I refer to that as silent treatment. Could it just be, and I could be wrong, but could it just be that she probably went back to her ex? I don't care if she did or not. But at the same time, think about it. She did tell me she's on and off with him. Now, what if I would have went into that relationship with her? Would have ended up hurt. And maybe she did me a favor by not talking to me ever again. Maybe she did me a favor not um, um, corresponding with me. So it could be a good thing. I would never know. But I wasn't going to wait to find out either. I've learned my lesson. I've developed standards, and I know my worth. I know my worth. I'll never be someone's option. I'll never be someone's option, and neither should you. Don't trust them when they tell you that they're on and off with somebody else, because in so many words, they are telling you that under any circumstances and at any time, they could go back to their ex or to someone else. Learn how. Learning is progressive. Learn how to protect this. Protect your heart. Many people say, well, I got a wall up. And I used to be so against when people used to say that. But now I look at it like, why do they have that wall up? Because many of us have been hurt. We've been lied to. We've been cheated on. We've been manipulated. We've been misused. We've been abused. And some of us are just, quite frankly, tired of it. So we got that wall up to protect us from potential hurt. When the reality of it is, and I wrote this in my book, Facing Our Wounds, just because you put a wall up don't mean that you still won't end up hurt in some way. Sometimes you got to create boundaries and set standards for yourself. Don't settle. Don't settle. You can be with someone who just wants to be with you. You'll be the only person. They won't have nobody on the side. They don't got any secrets that they have. Don't become someone's side piece. God bless you. Have an amazing week.
We hope you have enjoyed today's program. We want to connect with you. Visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show, or visit us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We're so grateful you tuned in today and hope you have a fantastic day.